Baltimore's season has taken a strange turn, and anyone watching closely can feel the shift in the air. Every time this offense steps onto the field, early in the year, the Ravens felt explosive, unpredictable, and confident. But over the past few weeks, the rhythm has changed, the scoring has dipped, the tempo has slowed, and the offense as a whole seems to be searching for that spark it had not so long ago. What used to be a unit capable of dropping more than 20 points with authority is now grinding through stretches where the production simply is not matching the talent on the roster. And the biggest storyline swirling around all of this is the health of Lamar Jackson. He has been dealing with one issue after another, and even though he continues to play through everything, the difference in his style is pretty clear when Lamar is not able to explode around the edge. When he cannot threaten a defense with those sudden cutbacks or those long strides into the open field, the entire structure of the offense shifts, and defenses react instantly to that change. Teams are starting to crowd the box in a way we have not seen in years, because they no longer have that same level of fear that Lamar will break loose for a 40-yard sprint the moment they get too aggressive. Instead, defenses are shifting their focus toward slowing Derrick Henry, forcing the Ravens into passing situations that feel more predictable than what Baltimore wants to be. And none of this is about doubting Lamar's ability as a passer. Everyone knows he can make the throws. The issue is the missing layer of danger that usually keeps defenses on edge. When the threat of a run from the quarterback evaporates even slightly, everything else becomes harder. Pass protection changes, timing changes, and reads become trickier because defenders are no longer respecting multiple possibilities at once. Over the last few games, that slippery, electric version of Lamar that pulls off plays nobody else in the league can replicate simply has not been there. Part of the problem is that he has been taking too many hits. Behind an offensive line that has been struggling to hold its ground, interior protection has been unreliable. And it feels like every drive includes at least one moment where pressure arrives instantly, forcing Lamar to absorb contact he should not be absorbing. Add in some shaky play-calling stretches, drops by receivers in key moments, and missed opportunities that stall promising drives, and you get an offense that looks out of sync far too often. It is not one person's fault. It is not solely on Lamar, nor solely on the run game, nor solely on the coaching staff. It is a combination of everything hitting at the same time, making each possession feel harder than it needs to be. Even with all of that, the Ravens are somehow stacking wins and keeping themselves in strong position, which speaks to how talented and resilient this group can be when things click even a little bit. Still, there is no denying that something feels different, and fans are waiting to see when, or if the offense returns to a form closer to what it showed earlier in the season. The matchup against Cincinnati is shaping up to be a major test, especially with Joe Burrow returning to the field for the Bengals. Burrow has always expressed respect for Lamar, and Lamar has always echoed that back. Every time these two face off, there is a level of intensity and mutual admiration that elevates the moment, no matter the records or injuries on either side. Burrow's presence has completely shifted the vibe in Cincinnati because that franchise looks visibly different without him. They struggled all season long while he was rehabbing, and now that he is back, there is a sense of urgency that was missing. Bengals fans have been desperate for hope, and Burrow stepping onto the field brings exactly that. Meanwhile, Baltimore is hoping that the extended rest helps Lamar regain some of that mobility that makes him so dangerous. The list of aches he has played through has grown every week. First the knee, then the ankle, and now the toe. He admitted the toe issue began early in the game, but the specifics have been kept vague, leaving fans wondering exactly how limited he really is. Regardless, the impact on the offense is obvious because so much of this system thrives when Lamar can threaten defenses with multiple layers of movement. The Ravens know that, the opponents know that, and Lamar himself certainly knows that. If he can get back to even close to full strength, the entire offensive structure changes instantly. The larger picture in the division only adds more pressure. The AFC North, usually one of the toughest divisions in the league, has been unusually chaotic this season. Injuries, inconsistent play, and unexpected losses have created an environment where no team has been able to separate itself with ease. Baltimore has a chance to seize control, but the margin for error shrinks every week. Cincinnati, on the other hand, is trying to claw its way back into relevance after letting several winnable games slip through its fingers without Burrow. Their margin for error was nearly non-existent, and they paid the price. Now they are hoping that his return brings stability to an offense that desperately needs it. This upcoming matchup is more than just another divisional game. It is a measuring stick for both teams, a chance to recalibrate expectations on each side. The Ravens want to prove that they are still the team capable of dominating on both sides of the ball, not the inconsistent group fans have seen lately. The Bengals want to show that with their quarterback back in action, they can still compete with the best. Both teams have something to prove. Both quarterbacks are dealing with physical hurdles, and both fan bases are desperate for clarity about what the rest of the season will look like. And as Thanksgiving night approaches, this showdown is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing chapters in a rivalry that never seems to disappoint as the conversation shifts deeper into the matchup itself. There's an undeniable sense that both teams are stepping into a moment that could redefine the trajectory of their seasons. Thanksgiving night always brings a different kind of energy, but this year the stakes feel even heavier for Baltimore. It's an opportunity to stabilize an offense that has sputtered far too often and show that their recent issues are more of a temporary stumble rather than a sign of long-term concern. For Cincinnati, it's about proving that Joe Burrow's return is not just an emotional lift, but a tangible turning point that can give them the spark they desperately need. After digging themselves into a difficult hole, and in the middle of all that, the matchups on both sides of the ball create a web of possibilities that could swing the game in countless directions when Baltimore's offense takes the field against the Bengals' defense. The biggest question will revolve around rhythm. Can they find it early, or will they fall back into the familiar pattern of slow starts? Those slow starts have put unnecessary pressure on the defense in recent weeks, forcing the Ravens to play catch-up mentally even when the scoreboard doesn't look disastrous. The offensive line is going to be under the microscope again, particularly the interior group that has struggled to keep Lamar clean. Any sign of quick penetration or collapsed pockets could immediately disrupt the flow of the passing game or prevent Derrick Henry from getting downhill. Henry is most effective when he can build momentum and force defenders into tough one-on-one situations, but too often he has been hit in the backfield or redirected before he can generate that power. If the line can stabilize, even for stretches, it could allow Baltimore to open up the playbook in ways that haven't been possible recently. The receivers also carry a huge burden in this matchup. Drops were a major issue last week, and even if the stat sheet doesn't tell the full story, the timing of some of those miscues killed drives that could have helped the Ravens control the pace of the game. Zay Flowers, Rashod Bateman, and the tight ends know how important their roles are, especially when Lamar's mobility is not at its peak. They have to win contested catches, they have to create separation, and they have to be reliable enough that Lamar trusts the windows even when the pressure collapses earlier than expected. Lamar himself will also need to settle in quickly, because the Bengals' defense has a knack for disguising looks and baiting quarterbacks into hesitation. Even a slight hitch in processing can turn a potential completion into a sack or turnover, especially with the way Cincinnati's safeties like to rotate post-snap. On the other side, the Bengals' offense versus the Ravens' defense presents an entirely different kind of test. Baltimore's defense, which was a liability early in the season, has transformed into a far more disciplined unit during this recent winning streak. They're tackling better, communicating better, and generating pressure at key moments, but the wild card is how prepared they'll be for a Joe Burrow who hasn't played meaningful football since mid-September. Rust is a possibility, but so is the chance that Burrow steps onto the field with the kind of energy and sharpness that have defined his best performances. His chemistry with Ja'Marr Chase has always been the anchor of the Bengals' offense, and if Baltimore can't limit their connection early, they might find themselves in a dangerous rhythm against a quarterback who thrives on exploiting every mistake. The Ravens' secondary will have to be extremely disciplined, especially with the way Burrow manipulates space and anticipates throws. Even if he isn't fully mobile, even if he's still getting his timing back, he's dangerous enough to punish coverage breakdowns. The cornerbacks will need to stay tight on routes, and the safeties cannot afford late rotations or misreads. Tackling will also be crucial, because the Bengals' receivers, especially Chase, can turn short passes into explosive plays when they break the first tackle. If the Ravens fail to wrap up early, those small mistakes could snowball into momentum-shifting drives. The front seven will have to force Burrow into uncomfortable situations without overcommitting. His pocket presence is one of his greatest strengths, and even when pressured, he has an uncanny ability to stay poised, slide away from danger, and deliver accurate throws off platform, the Ravens have to generate controlled pressure, collapsing the pocket methodically rather than giving Burrow escape lanes. And while the Bengals' run game has been inconsistent all season, Baltimore can't ignore it. If Cincinnati finds balance early, the entire game changes because it opens up play action and forces the Ravens linebackers into split-second decisions that Burrow can exploit. What makes this matchup so fascinating is that both teams feel fragile and dangerous at the same time. The Ravens can look dominant when they're clicking, but one missed penalty or one blown assignment can derail everything. The Bengals have struggled without Burrow, but with him back, there's always the possibility that they rediscover the version of themselves that has made deep playoff runs. Both fan bases are hopeful, but also realistic enough to understand that the margin for error is razor thin on both sides. As the game inches closer, you can sense the emotional weight building. Baltimore knows that a win would put them in prime position to separate themselves from the chaos of the division. Cincinnati knows that a win could revive their season entirely. The quarterbacks, each dealing with their own physical challenges, will inevitably become the center of attention, but this game could hinge just as much on the players around them. The offensive lines, the secondary discipline, the receiver execution, the defensive adjustments, the coaching decisions, everything will matter. Thanksgiving night games have a way of turning into classics when there is real tension on the line. And this one has all the ingredients: to franchises with playoff aspiration, to fan bases desperate for stability, and to quarterbacks who command respect every time they step under center. The Ravens and Bengals have already delivered unforgettable battles in recent years, and everything points to this being another one. Baltimore wants to prove they can weather the storm. Cincinnati wants to prove they're still alive. And when the lights come on and the cameras roll, none of the excuses or explanations will matter anymore. It will come down to execution, heart, and the ability to rise above the noise in a moment that could define the rest of the season. For both sides, as kickoff approaches, the storylines continue to swirl together: the injuries, the returns, the pressure, the respect, the uncertainty, the stakes. This game feels like one of those moments that ends up defining how the rest of the season unfolds for both sides. Whether it becomes another classic Ravens-Bengals showdown or a surprising blowout, in either direction, it's a night packed with emotion, tension, and opportunity, and no matter which way it goes, it's going to shape the narrative for weeks to come. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens, and hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. A shocking audio leak has sent tremors through the NFL world, igniting controversy and speculation that could rock the league to its core. Allegedly, the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals has been caught on tape attempting to influence a referee in their favor, a claim that, if verified, would rank among the most serious allegations in recent NFL history. The audio, which surfaced unexpectedly, captures what some insiders describe as a clearly inappropriate discussion about game management, raising eyebrows across teams, fans, and league officials alike. While the authenticity of the recording is still under intense scrutiny, the leak has already sparked outrage among rival teams, particularly the Baltimore Ravens, who reportedly expressed immediate anger upon learning of the situation. Sources suggest that the Ravens' front office and coaching staff feel the integrity of the game is under threat, and whispers around the league indicate that tensions between the two franchises could escalate if the matter isn't addressed swiftly. Social media has exploded with reactions ranging from disbelief to outrage, with fans calling for stringent investigation and severe penalties should the allegations prove true. League insiders remain tight-lipped, though speculation is rampant about potential repercussions. Some experts suggest that the NFL could face pressure to enforce stricter rules regarding owner conduct, possibly leading to unprecedented sanctions. Others caution that until a formal investigation concludes, the claims remain just that, allegations. Still, the very notion that an owner might attempt to sway a referee mid-season is enough to dominate locker room chatter in sports talk shows nationwide. Meanwhile, the Bengals organization has neither confirmed nor denied the audio's content, leaving room for endless conjecture. Pundits have noted that even the mere perception of impropriety can have ripple effects on team morale, fan loyalty, and league reputation. Speculation continues that internal league meetings are already underway behind closed doors, with officials weighing the next move to maintain credibility. For now, the NFL community is left in suspense, caught between scandalous rumor and shocking possibility, as the potential fallout could redefine how owners, referees, and teams navigate the high-stakes world of professional football. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.